And let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. Thank you for your patience as we get settled here. My name is Sandy Hart, and I am the director of the Charter for Compassion International Women and Girls Sector, and I'm honored to welcome you back, Grandmother Flordemayo. This is our 5th urgent call from the Spirit of the Feminine. Time really goes by quickly, doesn't it? And there's so much that we've learned from you. I want to welcome all of you listeners who are calling in from 11 countries this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are all around the world. And on behalf of the Women and Girls Sector of the Charter for Compassion International, I warmly welcome you all with love and gratitude. This call is being recorded, and I want you to know that you'll be receiving an email with any links or mentions worth taking note of on this call. And then also, all the recordings from all of our calls, including the last 4, are listed on our website, which again, you'll get a link to. I want to remind you, if this is not your first call, that Grandmother has made it very clear that she loves your questions. So please find at the bottom of your screen your chat window or your Q&A window, and you will be able to send us questions. We'll do our very best to get to them. I also want to let you know that this morning, afternoon, this evening, I can't forget, you're calling in from all around the world, that this will be a shorter call than our normal 1-hour call. Grandmother has some pressing things to get to today, and I think we're going to be able to accomplish our goals very comfortably in the time that we have with her. If this is not your, if this is your first call with us, allow me to introduce Grandmother properly to you. Grandmother is the founding member of the Confederation of the Indigenous Elders of America, Institute of the Natural and Traditional Knowledge, Church of the Spiritual Path, founding member of the Council of 13 Indigenous Grandmothers, and founding member of the Path. And this call is also part of a 20-day call series honoring the day of Ish, a highly spiritual day, which comes around every 20 days according to the teachings of the Mayan Calendar. So with that, I want to welcome you, Grandmother. I hope I got all that in shortest amount of time so we can get right to you and you can share with us your deep, beautiful spiritual wisdom.
Thank you so much, Sandy. I'm sending greetings to everybody in the 4 directions. First of all, I'd like to thank our beloved Mother, Creator, Maker of all of the beauty that is around us. I want to thank the spirit of our ancestors for this beautiful day. The reason for the call today is to prepare you for ceremony for tomorrow. And what this means is that the actual day of Ish is actually tomorrow. And the reason for the call is because I would like to do a meditation and perhaps make suggestions for tomorrow. We have been talking for quite some time now, 4 months, and it just is good thinking that we start putting our prayers into action. And my suggestion for tomorrow is, with all of the learnings that we have been giving, that we take these things into our hearts and put them into a practice tomorrow. We can, on the sacred date of Ish, at dawn, wherever you are around the world, greeting the sacred elements. Perhaps maybe you can start with the breath, because this is our life, the spirit of the wind, the spirit of the sacred breath. You can start with doing a gentle walk on Mother Earth, communicating, having this one-on-one communion with Mother Earth. with the spirit of the sacred breath, going over to greet the sun at early dawn and speaking to the spirit of our ancestors through the light of the dawn as it greets you in the morning. And throughout the day, make it so that, if possible, that you can go out into nature, regardless of where you live. If you do not have a place near you that you can walk over to the park, anywhere that there might be trees and plants and things like that, it would be advisable for you to perhaps maybe today go out and get a little plant, borrow a little plant so that you have this at home tomorrow when you do your prayers, and you have this communion and this one-on-one with the spirit of the four sacred elements, how it is in relation with your sacred walk and who you are at this very, very moment. Touch the little plant, look at the little plant, and do your sacred prayers. Do your meditation holding the little plant. Water it, give it some food. We say in Central America, when we bring the elements to give, we are feeding the plants, and also we're feeding our altar. These are things to remember in the way that we have been taught from the beginning of time. You can put together a little earth altar, bringing in things from the different elements. You can bring in a little feather or a little bell for the spirit of the wind. You can bring together a little container of water. You can bring a little incense burner, a little incense, whether that is a stick incense or you're going to burn charcoal. You can bring in the spirit of the fire in that respect. You can bring a stone or two, maybe some sand, some gravel, some dirt to represent the spirit of the earth, and become one with it and start your dialogue. And the dialogue, as I had mentioned before, is a communication between yourself and your beloved creator. And you start by embracing yourself, bowing to your sacred altar, and you take a breath, you concentrate on your breath, and you allow yourself to become one with your earth altar as it is there in front of you, where you had created with both of your hands, your prayers, and your good thoughts. And you start your prayer. When we start our prayers in the beginning, we bring in the gratitude of the sacred elements. We bring in the acknowledgement of the land in which we are standing at the moment. And we thank the spirit of the ancestors in that land, because we are all the time in different lands, in different countries. Whether they are our ancestors or not our ancestors, we directly ask the spirits of the land to give us permission for us to become one with all of that is there in the land. And we start our prayers. We, of course, have our eyes closed, and we allow the beauty and the connection in which we are in to guide us. Whatever it is that you feel in your heart, you express it. If you feel tranquility, you express it. If you feel love, you express it. If you feel that perhaps your mind is wandering and you can't relax it, you express that. Perhaps maybe we have a concern of a neighbor, a family member, about their health, anything that could be going on that day and on that moment in your life. You express that in your prayer. Perhaps maybe you are not feeling well about a relationship between yourself and another person. You talk about that. Bring it into a place of prayer. Bring it into a place of forgiveness. And this dialogue will go on and on and on as long as you can hold on to the attention of just putting your prayers into the ethers and allow them to go into the direction that you want it to go. So these are basic instructions for you to follow. And it would be very beautiful, all of us thinking about doing this ceremony tomorrow. The new day starts at midnight for Ish, wherever you are. Today at midnight you start, and it'll follow until the end of the day at midnight. I want to wish everybody a blessed, blessed day of Ish. I'm here at the moment, and I would like to perhaps maybe answer some questions at the moment, being that I will be, I have another responsibility in a short while that I need to tend to. So I will open myself now for some questions.
Yes, thank you, grandmother. That was a beautiful. That was those are beautiful instructions, and they seem so simple. And one of the things you had said on one of your previous calls, that the dire conditions of our planet are because we've forgotten our relationship to our beloved mother, to our beloved planet Earth, and to the four directions. And that seems like such a really practical and a very possible way of becoming reacquainted with our relationship and our responsibility to our relationship, and seeing the impact that we can have on the planet simply by having that relationship. And if I may take this moment, we do have a number of questions coming in. Okay, very good. So grandmother, for those who are new to this call, would you, and again to refresh those of us who have been with you for the last several the series, calls of the series, would you please speak more about the day of Ish, and also that tomorrow is actually the day of Ish, and today we're preparing for Ish.
Yeah, today is the preparation, and tomorrow is the day of Ish. It is Ish in the Quiché Mayan language, speaks about the spirit of the feminine. And in the traditional Maya, when we speak about the spirit of the feminine, it's not the way that it is in the Western world, where we are looking and thinking about a feminine person. With the Maya tradition, the Quiché Maya, the day of Ish is speaking about the relationship between humanity, that being men, women, children, and elderly, animals, plants, all that is living, the spirit of the waters, the spirit of the volcanoes, all that is alive, the rivers, the oceans, the animals that live in the water, the animals that live that are flying animals. All of this nature is the day in which we remind ourselves that we need to come back and to be in balance with nature. And so you people can listen if they have not listened to the first tape, which has a lot of detailed and a lot of information. But that would be a good place to start. And you can get further informed by listening to the tape. So it's our relationship with nature.
That's really beautiful. Thank you, grandmother. And also on our last call where you welcomed Brenda Aracho of the Dene and Ishwi, a Dene and Ishwi elder, to our call. And I'm going to just show everybody just ever so quickly her quote that was really quite stunning, and it is this: "The trees, plants, and grass that grow upon her are like her hair. The stones and rocks are like her bones. The water and natural resources that flow in her are like her blood. Until we know her as a living, breathing being, it's only then that we can honor her."
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Very beautiful. Yeah.
And so you
beautiful.
all of those
Yeah.
on this call will also get a copy of that. Thank you. And that's what you've illustrated so beautifully. And yes, if you haven't heard the calls, definitely start with the first call where you get a real understanding of the power of the Day of Ish. It's definitely a power of a day of deep spiritual power. And when you know about it, and the more you practice it, it's quite remarkable of how powerful it actually is. We have another question from Alicia. She asks, what is a good way to channel healing energy to your body?
The way that I have seen the energy move is, first of all, we have to still our minds and thoughts. We have to get into a place of total relaxation. And we envision and we ask, of course, through dialogue, our sacred prayers, our personal prayers. We ask the heart of the heavens, in other words, all of the cosmos, to come through our bodies and to remove anything that does not belong there, and also to nourish our body, to re-strengthen our body. So we're asking to have things removed that might be ailing us, and to also fortify us at the same time. This would be a good beginning for self-healing.
Yes, ask that that which does not serve us or the planet be removed from us right now. That's so profound and such an easy question to ask, isn't it? Why do you think it is that so many don't ask that question, or are holding on to those things that do not serve us? I have a question here from Brenda, calling from Sacramento. She asks, where can we find the recordings? And I can tell you right now where you can find them. They're on the Charter for Compassion International Women and Girls page. I will send you all a direct link to that. If you are on this call, which you are, you'll get a copy of that. And very good. There's so much good work going on around this topic that the comments that we have coming in, grandmother, are just so affirmative. We have a question from Brea, who it's the question on my heart right now is, what can we do about the dire condition of the sweet planet? You may have already answered this, but this goes a little bit deeper. The plants, the animals, the winged ones, the water, the air. Yes, we need to learn and implement as many ways as we can to walk more gently on her face and with less impact. What other ways can we make a difference?
Well, last conversation that we had, we spoke about the female menstrual on feeding the earth. We talked about that. We can add to that and bring a bowl of water into our altar and start talking to the spirit of the water. We can bring a bell into our altar and start asking the spirit of the wind. Start praying to the sacred breath, and also we can bring some soil and some stones into our altar, put our hands on it, and pray to it. And when you do your prayers, you ask that it nourishes and fortifies all of these elements, not only near you, your place of where you're living, but have it go across your town and across your state and across your country, and let it go across the world. And don't stop there. Send that prayer and energy out into the cosmos, because we're all related. We're children of the stars and children of the earth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Grandmother. I know that you need to be going, and I want to let the listeners know and the viewers know that you can stay on just a couple more minutes, because there are a couple of things that we can do on the planet. I'd like to share with you a couple of programs that we have going on around Earth Day, Earth Week, Earth Month. Actually, every day should be Earth Day, and I have another question coming in. And I love this because she starts by, or they start by saying, this might be a relatively silly question, which means I know it's a good juicy one. What are we calling in or connecting to when we say the four directions, besides a simple direction of north, south, east, and west? I believe this viewer may be asking about the four elements, which I may be, if I'm interpreting that correctly.
Okay, so I'm going to answer the question according to the tradition that I've been taught, the Maya tradition. When we send our prayers to the four directions, we are speaking about Maya cosmology and Maya religion. And what this says is that in the beginning, when the grandmother was making the human children, she also asked the lords, these are beings of light, to ascend upon the earth in the four directions and to give the human children the wisdom and the counsel that they need. So this is what it means.
Beautiful. What a loving expression. Well, thank you, Grandmother. Again, I'm very sensitive to your time, that you have some more healing to do in the world today where you are. And I know that you need to leave. And again, I hope that those of you who are still on the call will hang out just a couple more minutes. And if you need to leave, you will get
Thank you.
Bless
Thank you so much, and blessings and blessings to everybody, and much love and light. And we'll count another 20 days after tomorrow, and we'll meet again in another 20 days. Thank you so much. Love and light. Bye-bye.
Light, bless you. On May 3rd is our next call, and you'll be getting notice of that call. And as we say goodbye and send our blessings, I think, Grandmother, I think it's fair for me to speak on all of your behalf in thanking her again for this beautiful, deep spiritual wisdom. And I do encourage you all to go to the Charter for Compassion's website when you get the link, and watch at least the very first call, if not the rest of them. And you will see an additional call in there where Akashiana Barnes, a beautiful medicine woman from Northern California, has given us a blessing over the water, which I play occasionally in my mornings where I feel like that's necessary. So there's actually a guided prayer on that list as well. So one of the things grandmother actually wanted me to share with you is a couple of ways besides contemplative and prayer, in addition to actually what we can do with our hands and our feet out in the community. In a previous call, she had quoted His Holiness the Dalai Lama by saying that behind every prayer there is action. Behind prayer there is action. And us at the Charter for Compassion subscribe to the description of the word compassion is the willingness to identify the suffering of another and having a desire to alleviate the pain with action. And so in spirit of that prayer that I read to you by Belinda, until we really know her as a living, breathing thing, we cannot really heal her. And I suspect all of you on this call and anyone listening to the recording do hold her in the highest regard and our Mother Earth. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be here. And so with that, and there are two programs I want to share with you that we have coming up. We have an annual reaction to response program, and it is, and we have a call coming up on the 19th with Hereditary Chief Phil Lane Jr. And that call is on the critical state of our planet. And I will also be sending you that information. It's a very powerful call, acting out the critical state of Mother Earth. And again, this is part of our regular call series. And so we hope that you will register for that. And yes, Deborah, I will be sending out a quote that I put on the screen today, and the meme actually, which you can also find on our Facebook page. If you are part of, if you're on Facebook, find us for Charter for Compassion, Women and Girls. And then we also have a reaction to response. Just look for that, search for that, and you can find out more about this call. And another very fun, creative, dynamic, and exciting way of honoring our Mother Earth is to participate in the upcoming Compassion Games. And the Compassion Games are, like I said, just a really fun, dynamic, and creative way of participating in the world. And the Compassion Games were developed by the creative challenge put forth by the mayor of Louisville when he accepted an award from the people of Seattle, and for being such a model city of compassion. And upon accepting this award, he said that his city was the most compassionate city in the world until proven otherwise. And so it was that creative poke of competition that created the Compassion Games. It started the Compassion Games, where the two cities put their days of service up on a scoreboard and there were 4 indicating factors of who was the most compassionate on how many hours served, how many people served, how many volunteers did you bring along, and how many dollars did you raise if you raised money for a local nonprofit. Now, it's all tongue-in-cheek, of course you can't measure your compassion, but it is a dynamic way of engaging your community around you. And so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the Compassion Games. Oh, it looks like all of you are kind of hanging in with us here. And so, whoops, sorry about that. So the Compassion Games, sorry about that, you don't want to see that, is at compassiongames.org. And the upcoming co-opetition, and it's not a competition, it's called a co-opetition, is called Water is Life, Protecting the Sacred. And this happens between April 22nd and April 30th. You sign up, you either develop a team or you join a team or you play by yourself. We're going to ask you to join our team, Charter for Compassion Women and Girls, because we just want to prove that we are, how compassionate we are. Now, when I say prove, and I mean that very lightly, because I again know that you cannot measure your compassion. However, what we're doing is we're demonstrating to ourselves, our community, and the world what is possible. And here, you can come and you can watch this video. I won't play it for you now, but it's as simple as signing up. And there are 4 steps to playing. The first step is to sign up. It's just that simple. And there you'll be able to say you're part of Team Compassionate Women and Girls. Then you're going to go out into your community and do what needs to be done. And you know what that is. Nobody can tell you what that is. You go out and you clean your beach, you clean your park, you advocate for restrictions that affect the planet. You do whatever it takes to protect your planet, even if it means planting flowers or planting trees, or praying for compassion. However, whatever you consider to be compassionate action, you go and you play your heart out during those days. And then you come back to the compassion report map, which you will find here. And again, I won't dive too deeply into this. You can contact me if you're interested in a full presentation. But you come back and report on the compassion map. And the compassion map is where you're going to tell everybody what you did, a picture of it if you got it, and then a few bits of information, like how long did you participate? Did you bring any volunteers with you? What was it like? And then we want you to tell your story. Here is a repository of some of the most stunning examples of giving love to our planet. And so I really encourage you to just play around this site and see, and then go to the compassion report map, and you will see what it is to report. It's really quite a simple process once again, and I guess I am going to go here and show you this. But one of the most beautiful things about reporting is that you can see what is possible around the world, what's happening all around the world. These are all acts of compassion with any given area, and it just digs down and you hear the stories and you read the stories. There's some extraordinary stories here that are happening all around the world by people, children of all ages, 9 to 99, and they're telling their story and they're showing their pictures, and it really does help us understand what a connected world we live in. And you might find ideas here of things that you can do that you had never heard of. So I just want to share that with you. It's really a beautiful organization that is maybe perhaps some tongue-in-cheek. You know, we have a lot of fun with the idea of competition and cooperation, and science has proven that a little competition is very healthy. I had an opportunity to ask His Holiness a question, and that is about the competition that exists between so many of our peace organizations. And his response to me was, a little competition is good. And I should have known, because I play in the compassion games, and I've seen it happen, and I see what happens when we are inspired. It's part of our survival technique. When we're inspired to go a little further, a little faster, do a little bit more, bring a few more people with us to get the job done. So in the spirit of that, that is why I am presenting you with the compassion games. Let me see if we have any more questions that I can humbly answer. And by the way, if I wasn't able to get to your questions, and I think I was, and some of you have sent beautiful expressions of love and gratitude to Grandmother Flordemayo, I'll make sure that she gets those. And the last thing I want to share with you is something that Grandmother said, and you will hear again if you go and listen to the first recording. And that is that Ish is the carrier. Ish is the carrier of the divine spirit, of feminine agility, of power, of creativity, and of protection. And she carries that. And when I heard that, I couldn't help but reflect on our very own image of the Charter for Compassion, Women and Girls. So as we sign off, I just want to leave you with this image of the goddess holding up compassion. And know that here is a place for you to join us in that, in your expression of compassion, whether it be in any sector of the society, and we represent 12 here at the Charter, which I think you can find any sector woven in here. So I want to take this time to thank you all. I hope you enjoy your day of Ish tomorrow, and spend it knowing how grateful we are that you are here. And thank you. Blessings and gratitude. And goodbye, everybody.